I became my dad's full-time caregiver for 10 years, only for him to leave everything to my estranged sister. My name is Aaron. I'm 39 now, but this story starts when I was 29, just starting to figure out my life. I was living in Austin, working at a local mechanic shop, and renting a cheap apartment downtown. Not glamorous, but it was mine. I didn't have much, but I had peace. Friends. Beer on the weekends. I wasn't rich, but I was happy. Then I got the call. It was from the hospital in Dallas. My father had fallen. Heart failure. They didn't think he'd make it through the week. Now, before you assume anything warm or fuzzy, let me tell you, my relationship with my dad wasn't exactly picture perfect. He was tough, hard-headed, the kind of guy who thought emotions were for women and weakness was contagious. Growing up, he wasn't abusive. He was just distant, cold. He provided for us, but never really knew us. My sister Rachel and I were raised by our mom, mostly. After she passed from breast cancer when I was 19, everything in our family cracked wide open. Rachel went to New York and cut contact. I stayed closer, but still kept my distance. When I walked into that hospital room, I didn't expect to feel anything. But I did. I saw him lying there. Tubes, machines beeping, pale skin. He looked so small, so mortal. That was the moment I made a decision that would cost me the next 10 years of my life. He survived that first hospital stay. Barely. They said he couldn't live alone anymore. He needed daily care, physical therapy, medication routines, supervision. I remember the exact words from the nurse. He'll need someone full-time if he's going to have any quality of life at all. Rachel didn't even come to the hospital. She sent flowers. I called her twice. Once she didn't pick up. The second time she said, "Aaron, I can't just drop everything and play nurse. I have a life here." So I brought him home with me. My tiny 2-bedroom apartment became a makeshift nursing home. I moved my mattress into the living room and gave him the master. I installed handrails in the bathroom and bought a used wheelchair from Craigslist. I learned how to clean wounds. I learned how to change adult diapers. I learned how to wake up every 3 hours because he couldn't sleep through the night without medication. I lost my job 2 months later. No one wants to hire a mechanic who can only work 4-hour shifts between feeding and cleaning schedules. I picked up gig work, DoorDash, odd jobs, anything that let me be home in time for his insulin. It was brutal, but I kept telling myself, he's my father. And this is what sons do. 2 years in, Rachel visited for the first time. She pulled up in a rental car, wearing heels too high for Texas pavement, perfume too strong for a house that reeked of ointment and old man skin. She brought Dad some sugar-free cookies and a bright smile like we were on a sitcom. I was exhausted, covered in grease from fixing a neighbor's broken fridge for gas money. She hugged me and said, "Wow, you really committed to the whole Florence Nightingale thing, huh?" I laughed, but it wasn't funny. She stayed for 22 hours. Didn't change a single bandage. Didn't ask how I was. Just posed for a selfie next to Dad and posted it on Facebook with the caption, "Family is everything." Then she was gone. The years blurred. 10 years of bedpans, ER visits, medication schedules. 10 years of watching my friends move on, marriages, careers, kids, while I spoon-fed the man who never once told me he was proud of me. We had our moments, though. I won't pretend we didn't. Sometimes, late at night, when the TV was on and his pain meds kicked in, he'd talk. About the war. About Mom. About how he never knew how to raise a son because his father used to beat him. One night he said, "I know I wasn't easy to love, Aaron, but I see what you've done, and I'm thankful." That sentence carried me for 2 years. He died in his sleep a few months after his 78th birthday. I held his hand until it went cold. I cried, not because we were close, but because I had spent a decade of my life trying to earn love from a man who didn't know how to give it. I gave everything I had, and I thought, at the very least, he knew that. 3 weeks after the funeral, I was called to his attorney's office for the will reading. Rachel flew in for it. Again, high heels, big smile, fake tears. I was the only one dressed in jeans. Still smelled faintly of antiseptic from scrubbing down his old room. The attorney, a quiet guy named Morris, read through the will in monotone legalese. Then came the part that felt like a dagger. To my daughter, Rachel, I leave the house, my savings account, my pension, and all remaining assets. I know she'll use it wisely. To my son, Aaron, I leave my tools and my coin collection. That was it. 10 years of my life reduced to some rusty wrenches and a box of coins. Rachel placed a soft hand on my knee. Dad probably just figured you didn't need much. You're so self-sufficient. I didn't say a word. I walked out, and I didn't look back. For the next week, I couldn't function. I didn't eat, couldn't sleep. The rage inside me was louder than grief. I'd missed weddings, lost jobs, postponed every dream I had. For what? For a slap in the face? I walked into Dad's old room. Everything was still there. His slippers, his medicine bottles, the photo of my mom beside his bed, and the coin collection. I opened the box. Inside was a single note. Aaron, I know this isn't enough. Nothing I leave you ever will be. But if you're reading this, it means I'm gone. I want you to know, I saw you. I saw everything. I just didn't know how to make it right. There were tears on the paper. Mine or his, I don't know. A month later, Morris, the lawyer, called me. He said he needed to see me again, that it was important. I showed up expecting another slap. Instead, he handed me an envelope and said, "Your father didn't trust banks much." Said it was Rachel who didn't need to know. Inside the envelope was a deed to a cabin in Colorado and a letter. Aaron, this place was your mother's dream. We bought it before she got sick, but she never saw it finished. I want you to have it. Not Rachel. Not anyone else. You. I left Rachel the house because she would have sold this place in a heartbeat. But you? You'll understand what it means. It's peace. It's silence. It's what I never gave you in life. I sat there in that lawyer's office and wept like a child. It's been 3 years now. I live in that cabin. It's quiet. Birds. Trees. Wind. I grow my own vegetables. I fix things. I build things. I started writing, something I always wanted to do. I haven't spoken to Rachel since the will. She tried to contact me a few times. I ignored her. She sold the house. Bought a condo in Miami. Still posts on Instagram like everything's perfect. Maybe it is. For her. As for me, I don't know if I forgave my father. Not completely. But sometimes, when I'm sitting on the porch, coffee in hand, sun rising behind the hills, I feel something close to peace. He never gave me what I wanted when he was alive. But maybe, just maybe, he tried to, in his own broken way, after he was gone. Here's what I learned. Sometimes, the people we love don't know how to show love back. Sometimes, they choose the wrong ways to say sorry. And sometimes, you give everything and get nothing in return, except your own clarity. I took care of my father for 10 years. And he gave me a cabin I didn't know existed. Rachel got the house. But I got my soul back. I don't know if that's fair. But it's enough. And maybe, sometimes, enough is the closest thing we'll ever get to justice.